Today we are
We are
welcoming Sam, also known as the Crazy Candle Person, who you've probably seen around on Farcaster. And we're here to talk about candles, among other things, but really about running a small business in this crypto environment. And I'm especially interested in how it works when the product is not crypto related. But before we dive into that, I want to hear Sam's backstory because I've seen little bits and pieces. I know you came through the like tech venture hockey stick growth kind of world, and I'm curious how you got from there to here.
sure. So my name is Sam. I use they them pronouns, and I'm the founder at Humankind Candles. So we make dual layered candles, sort of like getting two scoops of ice cream in one cup. So my background is actually in B2B SaaS, the sexiest thing in existence. And there I worked for a bunch of venture-backed Y Combinator companies doing operations and recruiting. And I really enjoyed that. Part is part of working at a startup is you do a lot of hours. So when I was working at a startup, and after each day, I would come home and I would light a candle to sort of de-stress. But then I was going through so many candles that it wasn't sustainable for me to keep buying them. So I started making my own, and then I posted them on Farcaster, and people actually wanted them. So I ended up selling them to people, and it became a whole candle company. And now I'm working on Humankind Candles full time.
Interesting that that was the order of operations. I hadn't realized that Humankind started after you got on Farcaster. So how did you find Farcaster in the first place? Were you working, you said B2B SaaS, was it at all crypto adjacent or was that just a personal interest?
So it was crypto adjacent. So I was working at a developer tooling startup that helped with developer security for crypto companies. And I got an invitation on Twitter from Dan.
Interesting. So I like that you did the classic founder thing of like you had to solve your own problem of needing more candles. Did you like how was it hard to learn the process? I know it's a more involved process than people think it is, especially to make like safe candles.
Sure. My philosophy is that if you do something enough times, you'll learn how to do it. So I think by now I've probably made like over 1,000 candles. And I think it's just about persistence and making the same quality, high quality product over and over again. And that's basically it. I think there's, other things like research and shipping and like all those things that you learn over time. But ultimately, if you do the same thing over and over again, for many days in a row, I would expect that you would be good at it. And hopefully I'm good at it. Actually, I know I'm good at it.
Yes, I love the self-affirmation there.
Thank you.
What you were describing there is exactly how I've been approaching this podcast is we just started doing it and we're learning along the way. That really is the best way to learn in my experience.
Of course, you just have to do it.
You just got to do it. So my next question is you started out were the first candles that you sold, did you start selling them for USDC?
Yes. I think I did take USDC. I didn't take ETH at that point because I wasn't as familiar with ETH. But I did take USDC. I think I launched on Shopify, and I would say most people paid in fiat, but a few people reached out to me to pay in USDC, and that was really nice. So it was fun launching a crypto native consumer packaged goods startup.
And I know you've experimented with using various payment processing tools that are crypto native. Can you sort of summarize what your experience has been there?
It's been tough until I came along with splits. So it's really been tough because I would say it's pretty nascent. Like crypto commerce is nascent. I think it only really started last year, I would say. And everyone is clamoring to get to meet CPG founders, but not many CPG founders are using crypto. So a little bit of chicken and egg problem.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting about your business is that you happened to have this crypto people network. And would you say that it was that people were interested in the candles because you were the person who made them?
I think so, which is really nice. But I also think when people saw the product, they realized that it's not just about me.
Yeah, it's a pretty elevated product. And that was another thing that I was interested in talking about with you is like creating a luxury experience, which like I know you've gone into the details a lot, like you have custom packaging, you do like drop photo shoots, which are really pretty.
Thank you. Yeah. One of my main values is that customers should feel delight when they get the package. So even before they open up the candle, they should know what's in the box. They should know what my values are, and they should see what is reflected on the inside. And I think the shipping box does a really good job of that.
Yeah, they're so pretty. And you had Lamb Chop design those, right?
Yeah, Lamb Chop designed the inside box and the outside box, which is really awesome.
So you're already doing the collaborative Farcaster thing, which is fun.
Yeah, I mean, Farcaster is a good place to hire as well, so that's been pretty awesome.
And then where do you find customers outside of Farcaster? Like I know you've done some markets, you sell in some stores.
Yeah, so a lot of my other customers are impulse buyers. So they'll buy them at markets or they'll buy them at stores, which is really nice. But stores, I'm kind of inching my way towards, like retail, because it is a pretty tough game. So my go to market, I think, needs to be a little bit more elegant before I give you a real answer.
There's a lot of logistics in doing wholesale and like keeping track of the product that you have in various places. And are you doing more consignment style, or do they buy the product directly, or is it kind of a mix so far?
It's been a mix so far, so that's been pretty nice, but I still need to experiment with my in person products. So we'll see how it goes.
And then you also have a candle subscription, which is cool. I'm sure there are other candle subscriptions in the world, but I had never seen one before. So I thought that was a neat idea. How did you go about building out that program?
Sure. So I launched my Hyper Sub about a few months after FarCon when I saw the demand for my candles. And also, I had some familiarity using that platform, Johnny's platform, CrowdFi, to finally launch a Hyper Sub. I think I knew that I needed to launch it because people were running out of their far candles pretty fast. So people were using them, like using all of it in 1 month or 2 months, and it's like, okay, when's the next candle? Where's the next candle? So I created Sam's Candle Club, and we ship candles to our subscribers every quarter. So they get something from a new collection each quarter as well. So every quarter I'll launch seasonal candles. There's 3 candles based on the season. It's like a fashion show almost. And they get what I think is the newest, brightest, best candle from that collection, typically before everyone else gets it. They also get access to a group chat where we just talk about how much we love candles, how we use candles, different designs. We talk about everything in there. So that's been super rewarding because I don't know any other consumer packaged goods company where they have group chat with the founder where I can do CX on the fly and also interact and get feedback from my customers and subscribers.
Was part of your interest in doing the hypersub like to add more sustainability in terms of like your revenue choppiness?
Yes. So I think a big part of that is because candles are a seasonal product. So my best sales are in like October, November, December, basically leading up to Christmas. And my lowest quarter is in January. But by having the subscription program, I'm able to at least have a baseline for each quarter, and that's been really nice.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense. I think most retail follows that pattern of like ramping up toward Christmas, but I can see how it would be like amplified with candles since it's like this cozy, like cold weather thing, or at least people have that association. What about on the product design side? I imagine you're always experimenting with scents and different colors, and how do you have a general approach, or is it like very playful?
I would say it's like math almost. So I look at the trending scents of the season. So right now, tomato's really hot. I have a tomato candle coming up. So I look at the trending scents and I usually pick from those. I pick a theme for each season. So this upcoming theme is spring forest. I ask my customers, I ask them, what do you want in spring? And most of them say flowers or rain or grass or something like that. Someone requested yuzu tart, so I'm doing a yuzu tart for spring. So I think all of those things come together every single season for me to be able to create scents that are in demand. And I have data from the industry and I have data from my customers and from my own imagination, of course, because I create the themes.
I like how each drop has a mood to it. Like you really create I guess experience is the best word. I'm not sure. Like even if you don't have the candles, like there's a flavor to the way that you bring together all these elements, which is very appealing. I guess that also goes to the like luxury attention to detail thing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I like to think of each season as a collection such that people want to buy the entire collection.
That makes sense.
Yes.
You mentioned you look at the trending scents and you have industry data. Like how do you know what scents are trending?
Yeah, so I work with my manufacturers, and because they're fragrance oil manufacturers, They usually write blogs, or I'll email them and say, hey, what is selling out the most right now? And then they'll tell me, and then that will be my data points.
That's so interesting. Like it never would have occurred to me as someone who's not, in this industry that there would be like scents would have trends, I guess. It makes sense that you can get that data from your manufacturers, but that's fascinating. There's so much depth in the world to anything that you work on seriously. It's just a never-ending rabbit hole that you can go down.
Of course, I think that's my favorite part is that there's a million scents and there's a million ways to be creative.
What about your production? Do you do it at home?
Yeah, I have an office actually. So I work out of my office here, and that's been pretty nice. But it is getting cramped, I would say. So we're gonna see if we're gonna move to a bigger space as production ramps up.
Especially since it's not just the like candle supplies, it's also shipping, you need a printer and all those kinds of things too.
Yeah. So this summer I'm actually moving out of my apartment into my boyfriend's place, so I can make my entire apartment candles.
You're not going to drop your lease, you're going to just transform it into a candle studio.
Yeah, I have a rent controlled apartment, which is very nice. And
Well,
it's
that's
cheaper, the square footage is cheaper for me to keep this than it is to get an actual office. So that's what's happening this summer.
that's exciting. I imagine that's going to be a big project, huh?
Yeah, like moving all my shit out and, moving the industrial shelves in is going to be a lot.
Yeah, I imagine that once it's all set up, it'll be great. The process. I moved somewhat recently and I'm still scarred from it. Move again.
Yeah, well, I guess the benefit is that I'm really good at packing stuff really fast. So hopefully those skills will help me when I have to do it for my place.
How often do you tweak stuff? Because it's different with physical products versus software, right? With software, it's so easy to you change something, you change it back. How do you approach that with you're actually making things?
Yeah, so the way that I've thought about my improvement process is a cycle. So the first thing is make the best product, like make the best candle. The next step is make the best packaging. And the third step is make the best website and advertisements or whatever. So because all of those things work consecutively, and I moved from the most important to least important. Well, I guess they're all important, but what's most important is that the product is good and in people's hands. The packaging people just throw away. And the website, that's what people either return to or interact with the first time. And if they're not convinced the first time, then whatever, right? So that's sort of the process that I look at for tweaking. I wouldn't say that it's on the go and easy to do things on the fly, but I have a process for it.
And so about the advertising and marketing, is it mostly e-commerce and then you're kind of slowly building up the other retail channels?
Yeah, so my theory has been saturate one channel, which is Farcaster, and then I have the data to move to other channels. Other channels is question mark right now. It's going to be like, do I do Instagram ads? Do I do TikToks? Do I do ASMR candle making? There's so many different ways that I could go about it. I could just, go into retail and pitch, get an email to Whole Foods or something like that. Or, Trader Joe's. But I think direct to consumer is where I want to stay. So I have to figure out which channel is best for me to move into.
What is your approach to marketing on Farcaster? Because at first it was something that you kind of stumbled into, but I imagine you're more strategic about it now.
It's just build in public. It's like if I'm doing something candle related, just talk about it. That's it. And it takes me 1 second to make a cast, 1 second to take a photo, like a progress photo. And my group chat also helps me boost posts as well, because obviously they like the content. So that way the algorithm, my group chat will help me with the algorithm to rank better on Farcaster.
And so when people find you, is it mostly from they see the post just pop up on their feed or they see someone recast it?
Yeah, I think that's basically it.
Do you feel like you're close to saturating Farcaster or no? I mean, I guess also Farcaster is growing, so it's maybe kind of complicated to answer.
I think many founders on Farcaster have reached the local maximum for the customers they're able to get on it. That includes me.
Mm.
So I would think that it is saturated. But with the new hires, I'm optimistic that Farcaster will grow much faster than we've seen in the past 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, I hope so. There's definitely been a lot of activity, especially with the rewards program ramping up.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Me too. And also all the frames activity is really fun. Both the like kind of toys and the games, and then also like more serious businesses figuring out how to get their product to work with the social feed. It's really interesting to watch that process.
Yeah, I think frames have unexploited potential, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
Do you have any favorites so far?
A JC4P, he made a really cool one. It was like, which drink are you? Or which drinks from your profile. I thought that was really interesting. I also did an Enneagram one. I think it was also by him. So,
Yeah, he has been making lots of them and like trying lots of different ideas, which is fun.
he's been popping off. So those have been my favorite.
You should collaborate with him to do a like "What candle are you?" frame.
That would be a lot of fun.
Different personality quizzes. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, like a lead magnet. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, oh, it would be a great lead magnet. That's a good idea.
Yes.
I was going to ask if you were a candle, what candle would you be?
I think I think I've gotten a similar question to this before. I would be a scentless candle, which is what I have.
I'm shocked. A scentless candle.
Yes.
Why?
I'm a blank slate for any and all possibilities.
Interesting.
What
So
about you?
you burn scentless candles more often?
I burned candles to test them now. I've lost the relaxation part of it. Now it's just testing.
Oh, that makes sense. I would be like I don't know, like a ginger vanilla or something. Something that's warm and sweet, but like with a little bit of a twist.
Like a chai, spicy chai, vanilla.
That sounds great. I have the opposite problem of you with candles, where I have acquired too many candles and don't actually burn them often enough. So I made myself swear off of buying candles. Just like, this is what you don't want to hear, right? No, you should buy candles. But I have backstock that I have to work through. But
Well, if
it's
you have so many, what's the harm in getting another one? If you're not going to burn them anyways, you might as well still buy them.
the problem is that I have a toddler, so that's what makes it hard to burn the candles.
Yes.
I need to figure out a good surface that I can put the candles on that he can't reach. That would solve things.
How tall is he?
He's like 2.5 feet, 3 feet, something like that.
3 feet? If you have a good kitchen counter or bar.
Yeah, that is what I've currently been using. I guess our kitchen counter space is always like fiercely contested. There are too many things. That's a whole nother problem. Too many things. Is that something that you deal with at all, or have you like really optimized your space given that it's also your production area? Or is it different in the area that you use for creating candles versus your like normal living space?
That's a great question. I need to get better at managing my inventory, if I have to be completely honest. Inventory management kills or CPG startups. So I'm still learning how to do that.
So that leads to another question, which is how much do you like pre-make, or do you make the candles on demand, or a combination of both?
It's a combination of both. If I sense that there's more demand coming up, like for special events, I'll make them in advance, like Valentine's Day or Christmas. But typically I make them made to order, sort of like Starbucks, because I like when they're fresh. And I think other people like when they're freshly made too.
Do you have like a bunch of fragrances on hand and then you buy more like when you're planning to use a bunch of like a particular fragrance mix, or
Yeah,
there's a lot of supplies that you have to manage?
yeah, the way that I order fragrances is I order samples first, and if I like the samples, then I order more.
It strikes me that like, you have wax, you have vessels, you have fragrances, like you have packaging supplies and like shipping stuff. There are a lot of different items that you have to kind of have in your head, or like figure out what levels of these different things you have. Do you keep track of it all in a spreadsheet, or do you have a kind of like a fingertips feeling of where you're at with different things?
Yeah, so I need to buy a barcode scanner. That's it. Sorry, I'm like kind of congested still.
Yeah. Are you on the mend yet, or are you still in the like feeling sick period?
I was really bad yesterday, but now I'm better, so I'm happy about that. But my apologies. Yeah.
No, no worries.
Yeah.
It's comforting when you know that you're not going down, you're going up.
Yeah, for sure. But I think inventory, like I need a barcode scanner to scan everything when I use it. I need to like really organize my place, because I think that's the only way I'll be able to scale better.
Yeah, inventory is tough. There's so many little individual things and keeping track of all the levels.
Yeah, like I literally have to scale with less space. That's a really, feel like a really tough problem.
Is that part of why you like to make the candles on demand also? Is that then you don't have as much, as many candles that are pre-made, like taking up space?
Yeah, the raw materials take up less space than the made candles as well.
And so you mentioned that you do quarterly launches. You do kind of a capsule collection for each season.
Hmm.
Have you done it that way from the beginning, or is that something you settled into later?
That's something I settled into just this year, actually. So I did a capsule collection for Christmas. That was kind of late, and I started really nailing each quarter, like this year.
Do you like how soon within the quarter do you try to launch it? Like, do you prep everything in the previous quarter?
Ideally, yes. Realistically, no.
That's life, huh?
Yeah, so I try my best to do things earlier rather than later. Now that I know sort of how long it takes to create a collection, now I can do things better in advance. But for a long time, it wasn't like that. It was more on the fly.
When did you make the jump from doing this as kind of a hobby or like a fun side gig to going full time?
Just January.
More recent than I realized.
Yes, I think people, because I post about candles on Farcaster a lot, they think I was full time for a while. But I was getting pretty overwhelmed with the candle stuff, and I really wanted to take a big bet on myself. So I just went full time recently.
And so the tipping point, it sounds like, was the amount of time and energy that it was taking to like try and work two full-time jobs at the same time.
Yep, that's exactly it.
And would you say that have you reached a sustainable point, or do you still need to build up to like make this something that will work for the long term?
I don't think anything's ever. I mean, humankind is technically ramen profitable, so there's that. But sustainable, as in, can I live a good life on just making candles right now? The answer is no. But luckily, I have enough savings from big tech, and I don't need to take venture funding to be able to make this work, which I'm really proud of actually. So I'm giving myself a runway of like 1 year, 1.5 years. I have enough supplies for living. I have enough supplies for putting like a few $1,000s to humankind each month, and I think that's good enough for me to try to make this work.
How has it been in terms of mindset, like doing this bootstrapped solo founder thing and going from the big tech ecosystem, which is just like a very different environment, to, doing it yourself in your own place, doing everything with your hands?
Really refreshing, actually, because as you know, I'm sure working at many venture funded startups as well. Startups don't make money. Startups are not profitable. So just having margins that make me profitable make me feel really good.
That's so funny. That in a way is actually more financially viable.
Maybe I don't have the scale, but that's okay because just because you have a bunch of venture funding doesn't mean that you're scalable or profitable, right?
No, it doesn't. That's true. Yeah, the last company that I worked for before Splits had a really good idea that I think was too early and like not quite implemented right, and just eventually ran out of money. That happens.
That happens to many startups, but
Yeah.
when you're spending your own money, it feels different.
Well, and it must be super gratifying to be earning money for something that you made and to have like a direct connection with your, I was going to say users, I guess customers is a better word here. Although, I mean, you do use a candle, so it kind of works.
The most gratifying thing is my connection with my customers, I would say. It's not really about the money, because if it was about the money, then I would just stay in big tech.
Mhm.
It's like seeing the way that people interact with my product and seeing how they gift it to their moms or their sisters or their wives or whatever, and seeing how that creates a connection of love is really impactful. And I don't think a B2B SaaS job will ever do that.
Say it ain't so. Yeah, there's like a preciousness that is really rare in the digital world, where there's something grounding too about a candle, that it's like a physical thing, and it's so embodied, your experience with it, especially with the scent, and then flames are hypnotizing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's all about utility, right?
Always utility.
Yeah.
Have you thought about like layering on more of the crypto elements, like, I don't know, an NFT that goes along with your candle or something, or do you think that would just be a distraction?
I did do an NFT last year actually for FarCon. So I used to send art with each candle, but it unfortunately did not push the needle forward for making the business grow faster. So I cut it off.
Hmm. Yeah, you have to be kind of ruthless sometimes when you're like trying different things. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like, why am I making this NFT if not many more people are buying the NFT or the candle for the NFT, right? I think the NFTs are still based off of speculation right now.
Like just about everything.
So it's not worth my time right now.
Have you thought about doing a candle related clanker?
People have begged me. I got multiple DMs. Sam, please launch a token. I'm never gonna launch a token. I sell candles. The way that you can make money is by working for me, by helping me, or you can help me make money by buying a candle. That's it. I want to keep it really simple. Like I definitely don't want to launch it. I respect the team. I really like the team a lot, but personally, I'm never gonna launch a. Maybe I shouldn't
It's
say
a
never, but it's not gonna
it's a
happen.
old school form of token where instead of it being stored in a database or on a blockchain, it's stored in a glass vessel and using wax.
Yeah, and people have their proof of burn or whatever, right? Yeah, so I don't even want to touch it right now, but maybe.
What advice would you give to other people who are interested in starting a non-crypto business but still being part of the crypto ecosystem?
Just
Like,
do
are there
it.
any, just do it?
I mean, if it's your calling and that's what you want, like I can't, say that you should align all of these variables and all of these metrics and the total addressable market and launch a clanker to bootstrap your startup costs. Like, just do it. If you like something enough, you love something enough, why not?
It's certainly worth a try. I love to see people following their passions. Like even when it doesn't work out, like I have done that and it didn't work out and like I still learned a lot and it's still a lot of fun. And it's gratifying to make things. It's really creating is one of the most rewarding things in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I could say follow your passion, but, make sure it's profitable too. Ideally, your passion should be profitable. If that's what you want, you should try to make it profitable, but that's okay if it's not too.
That's a great quote. Ideally, your passion should be profitable. And I mean, it's very true. If you're going to follow your passion, it should be a profitable one to follow.
It doesn't have, not everything is about the money, right?
That's true.
Sometimes it's about the love. And I wouldn't say humankind is particularly, we're not making millions of dollars right now, but I'm passionate about it and it can be profitable. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, and it's certainly, I mean, it's possible to pursue passions without turning them into businesses, and not every passion should be a business.
Of course.
But if your passion can be a business, all the better.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then are there, like, what tools have served you the best along the way? Like, is your website still Shopify? And we already talked about Hypersub.
Hmm.
Has anything else been particularly useful?
Splits, that's it. So I like to keep my book separate for my crypto income and my, fiat income. So the memo function on splits has been super helpful for me to be able to give each transaction an order number. So I can see exactly how much I made in crypto at a specific period of time. I also like how I could receive it in any currency that I like. Because sometimes people have different preferences, and that's okay, but it's inconvenient to me when I have to bridge or whatever. So that has been really nice, just opening up that possibility for me.
That's so cool that Teams has been useful for you because I think, it's not the type of on-chain revenue that they originally had in mind putting together the product, but it works because it's all using the same rails.
Yeah, it's been super helpful. I'm very happy using splits.
I'm really glad to hear that. See, that is so gratifying, right? When it's actually making someone's life easier.
Yeah, the product works really well, and you guys are really good at taking feedback too. So I'm quite happy about that.
Well, I couldn't ask for a better testimonial.
I know,
What are you drinking?
literally just water.
Gotta stay hydrated. Oh, is that cinnamon roll on your
Yeah, my favorite.
his birthday was like a couple days ago.
Yeah, oh my god, how'd you know that? Do you like cinnamon roll too?
I like all the Sanrio stuff. Like it's just all so adorable and it makes me happy.
It makes me happy too. I'm obsessed.
I don't know that I have a favorite. Maybe my melody. It's hard to pick though.
My Melody is pretty sweet. She's popular too.
Yeah, they're all so adorable. I also really like Karapi the frog, kind of a like unsung hero.
Cheesy.
Well, I think we've covered all the territory that I had in mind. Is there anything else that is on your mind?
No, I guess I'm really grateful that you took the time to chat with me today and bear with me through my sickness. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. Now, actually, I wouldn't even notice. You sound normal to me.
Thank
I
you.
hope that you feel completely better soon. I believe, is it humankind.place? Is that your website?
Yeah, so you could find me at humankind.place. That's my website. Or you can go onto my Warpcast where my handle's at Samantha and the channel is /humankind, and you'll be able to subscribe to my hypersub or buy Candles in Crypto right on Warpcast.
Nice. Well, everyone should, including me, I obviously need more candles. Everyone should go get a candle and keep an eye out for the next collection as well.
Yes, thank you so much, Sonia. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I need to click the buttons that stop things.